Are you ready to learn how to effectively actually do inbox or DM management for your client? This video is part of How to Be an Amazing Executive Assistant series, where we're going through the three main things that you are in charge of as an executive assistant for your client. The first one is guarding your client's time. This part of the series is regarding your client's attention, basically what comes onto their desk. The third part is basically how to manage your client's outcomes. Now, for inbox management or DM management, so it doesn't have to be just their email. It's also probably going to cover your management of their LinkedIn inbox, of their Instagram inbox, of anywhere else that your client will get messages from someone else. You're going to be in charge and managing. Imagine if you were in a physical office with your client, you're the one managing the things that are coming into their inbox. So in a normal or physical setting, you would have one box that will have input and output for your boss or your client. So imagine if someone's just like, hey, here's like a couple of mail for your client, drops it in that inbox. You're the one filtering and managing it every single time. Now, when you are joining and starting to work with your client, their inbox is going to be messy. Their inbox is going to be a headache. You're probably going to be starting with like 800 emails for your client, a couple of messages on LinkedIn, a couple of messages on Instagram or Facebook or wherever they are also active. So for you as the executive assistant guarding their attention, you're making sure that your client only sees the things that they need to put their attention into. So as a perfectly good example, if your client already set like, hey, our goal this year is to be able to get this many clients. So then anytime that there's an opportunity for a new client, you make sure your client sees that. Anything that takes them away from their goal that doesn't actually move them towards that, you can filter, and maybe they don't even have to see that in the first place because you've kind of created that parameter with them. Essentially, the goal here is that they see the right messages, the right emails, DMs, whatever that looks like, at the right time, at the right format. So for example, for me and my assistant, she briefs me in the morning what are the emails that she already took care of, any DMs that she took care of on LinkedIn as well, and what needs, again, my attention. And on my inbox, we have a filter that says needs attention. So then for me, I don't have to go through the rest of the inbox. I just have to look at the things that she has already marked as needs attention. Now, before you even touch your client's inbox or their DMs or anything like that, you need to be clear on a couple of things. First thing, what is their own focus? So like, what are the goals that they currently have? What are the things that they're moving towards? What are the things that are important to them? Like, do they care if they get emails from family or DMs from family at all? Do they care for, if their business partners text them or email them? You want to know their own preferences first before, again, you touch anything. So asking them, hey, can you run me through how you're currently managing your inbox? Because even though their inbox is a mess, it makes sense for them at that point. Like, your main focus as your client is walking you through how to manage their inbox or how they're currently managing their inbox is to take their preferences, take essentially that walkthrough, and then make sure that they only see the things that they're saying, like, oh, I pay attention to this, I look for this, I use this filter, or I use this search term. You're first observing. So that's the first chunk of this, is you're just observing how they're currently managing and doing it. So then you can build a system around it, because then that's the only thing that they will start to see moving forward as well. Now, depending on the messaging tool that your client is using, whether that's Gmail, Outlook, whether that's for LinkedIn or Instagram, a lot of these will kind of fall into the same way of essentially how to filter and find if this is the right information for your client. And generally, it's going to be a 4-category triage system that you would want to build for yourself and for your client. The first one is anything that's urgent and important, basically things that needs to be moved. Like, if you don't do anything, if you don't respond to this, something else will explode or something else will go wrong. So that's the urgent and important things that are aligned towards a goal for your client and needs an urgent enough response to have a faster turnaround. Next is anything that just needs a response. But basically, there's not really an action that needs to be done. It just needs a response. Now, for these, you can take care of as the executive assistant is you can start writing and learning also at the same time, of course, your client's voice, how they email, how they have responded in the past as well, that you can start drafting a lot of the responses for your client. So then for them, especially in the first 90 days, they can just approve things, and then you'll start learning and getting their feedback of what's right and what's not right when it comes to responding as your client. Third category is anything that's just an FYI. If things like resource basically that someone sent over, or someone had, your client had a meeting with someone else and someone like, hey, you told me to send this over to you. Anything that's just like FYI, like, hey, just so you know, you basically can create a whole report on that becomes a weekly report for your client or even a monthly report for your client. So for example, for me, all of my team sends me once a week a report on how they're doing. Basically, my assistant and I will review that as just one whole thing instead of me having to go through each and every one of those reports. And finally, anything that's in the junk or unsubscribe. High chances are if your client is subscribed to someone, either they just bought a product from them or they do like them, they like seeing their, mailing, whatever that looks like. You just have to clarify with your client of like, hey, does this go into the junk, unsubscribe pile, or are these ones that you actually want to read, which then moves them up to the FYI part of your filters basically. Now the cool thing, and I want to now walk you guys through how to be able to actually do this. So I have, and if you guys have seen any of my other tutorials on like how to manage emails, I have this throwaway account. You can see the email. Let's go to ansubscription@gmail.com. And I basically, in the last couple of years, just put things into here just because like, hey, throwaway account that I can use for training you guys. So here, the cool thing now is, let's say this is like your client's email. I think there's like 60 something emails on here. Oh, no, actually there's 389 emails on here. So this is perfect. So let's say you arrive to your client's email, they give you there's 389 emails, right? So there's a couple things that you can start seeing. First is you want to notice patterns. You want to see like, oh, receive, Women's Business Club. There's emails from me, which is basically my newsletter because I use this as a test all the time for my newsletter. So you'll see here, because a lot of these are just mailing, you can see I already created like a subscriptions filter, but you can go ahead and show search options on here, has the words unsubscribe, create filter, and then you can basically skip the inbox if your client doesn't want to see the subscriptions anyway. You can apply a label of just subscriptions on here, or you can mark them as read, or main thing that you can also start doing is then starting to unsubscribe to a lot of them. So for example, this one, Score App, typically on Gmail at least, there'll be an unsubscribe button right here. So then you can go ahead and unsubscribe, and then you can delete the ones that are not even relevant anymore. So then hopefully from 389, it will go down. And then for anything else like your FYI, needs response, as well as all the way to urgent and important that only your client will see, those are the part of the system so you can start building with them. So basically, if your client has a Google Workspace anyway, that's automatically inside of the plan. That's what we use at 2XU. By the way, this is not sponsored at all. These are just like the cool things that you can use as an executive assistant. If you don't have Google AI and your client's not paying for it, of course, you can just ask ChatGPT or Claude to be able to break down like, hey, these are the common emails that the client will get. Help me build out the filter system for them, and super straightforward. And you guys saw already how to create your own filter. Again, depending on your client, depending on their own preferences, you want to make sure that you get their feedback on how they prefer to see this. Other common filters that you're probably going to be building with your client are going to be filters for like their clients, the team members, anything else that has to do with the business, essentially, like any opportunities. So for example, for me, I do have a filter for like my speaking gigs and how I want to see them. Now, I did want to show you guys essentially what that looked like with Gemini. Basically on the side is you can basically go ahead and go through all my emails and suggest possible labels / filters. And basically Gemini will then just go through all of the emails that's currently in this account, and then it'll start giving it like, hey, build, you can use the built-in important flag, newsletters and promotions, and already can suggest a lot of the different types of, based on the emails that you already get anyway, or your client already gets suggestions on how to be able to do this yourself, which is pretty nifty and pretty nice. Now, a key thing with category number 2, which is basically you responding to emails of your client as them, is you can also set up essentially a Google Gemini or ChatGPT where you grab at least 5 to 10 emails that your client wrote and be able to clean out anything that is, a data breach or anything that will be dangerous to feed into an AI, and be able to create essentially an AI like, hey, this is how My client usually writes emails. I will feed you emails to be able to respond back. That way you do have essentially an AI writer that knows how your client writes, how they respond to things, basically their voice, and then being able to generate responses as your client is a little bit easier because you have that. Another part of this that you can do is you can make sure that you can start documenting and creating templates of how to answer commonly asked questions and basically what to do. Like basically keeping in mind if this then that, of like if this email is received or if this DM comes in, this is what I will do. So for example, for my multi-webinar, is my assistant knows that if we receive a question about that she will send in this link, this template, this email. Same thing whenever I do get requests to speak on stage or speak at a workshop or be able to be a guest on someone else's podcast, there's a series of emails that we've already talked about, that we've already finalized, that she will send to these people because we've already created systems around it. And for you to be able to keep your clients' inbox, their DMs clean and clear, is you're also making sure that you are building out those systems with them based off of their feedback, based off of like how well you did last time. You're able to actually document how to be able to maintain your clients' inbox to the point where if you are going to be taking a leave, if you're going to be on vacation, your client can basically take care of their own inbox for a few days because you've created standard procedures or documentation on how you would usually respond to things for your client. Now, a few common mistakes I want to make sure that you skip as an executive assistant. One is not even just technology emails. If an email needs a little bit of time to respond to, just say, yes, got this email, we'll forward this to so-and-so, or like, yes, got this email, we'll respond it in a day or so. You wanna make sure that as you are handling your client's inbox or their DMs, depending on their own preferences as well, that at least on the other side, for the person who sent that email, that you're acknowledging that you got the email, that if you can't respond right away, there's a reason for it or there's an explanation for it, basically. Next is, again, not being clear about what urgent and important means for your client. You have to get to know that right off the bat before you do anything on their email. Another mistake is just kind of writing responses as if you're not keeping in mind that you are representing your client. Because if you have access to their inbox, you're basically now an extension of them. You're an extension of how they communicate or how they interact with other people who are interacting with their email as well. And of course, a mistake is just not using AI at all, where you can have AI be more detailed, sound funny, sound cool, sound calm, basically sound like your client, and matching essentially their voice with the voice of your client. And you know that you've succeeded, you know that you've won if you are sending out emails and the people on the other side don't even know that it's not your client in the first place. Or even better, if it's someone that's been working with your client for years who was like, hey, is this you or your EA? Because it sounds the same. You know that you've succeeded. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there so I can make more content just like this one. If you have any questions at all when it comes to inbox and DM management for your client, make sure to comment them below. If you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday on how to grow your career online, especially with AI. If you're a business owner yourself, I do have a second channel right here, and you can check out the latest video right here. Make sure to join the AI for virtual assistants community, where you can ask different questions, where you can grow with the different communities that we have on there. And I'm excited to see you right there. And now I hope you guys have an amazing, fantastic day, and where that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.